Good evening, everyone. I, Sneha Padve, Company Secretary of the company, welcome you all to the 31st Annual General Meeting of Birlasoft Limited. Before I hand over the proceedings to the Chairman to declare the meeting open, I would like to mention certain points here. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs and the Securities and Exchange Board of India, via their respective circulars, have allowed companies to hold the annual general meeting through video conferencing or other audio-visual means during the calendar year 2022. This annual general meeting is accordingly being held through video conference in compliance with the circulars issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and SEBI. In terms of the said circulars, the requirement of sending physical copies of the annual report for the financial year 21-22 to the members has been dispensed with. Accordingly, the annual reports for the financial year 21-22, along with the notice of 31st AGM, have been sent by electronic means only to all the shareholders whose email IDs were registered with the company's registrar and share transfer agent or the depository. The registered office of the company, situated at Pune, Maharashtra, shall be deemed to be the venue for this 31st AGM, and the proceedings of this AGM shall be deemed to be convened thereat. The register of directors and key managerial personnel, the register of contracts or arrangements in which directors are interested, and other documents required to be kept open for inspection can be accessed for inspection by the members on the website of the company during the proceedings of this AGM. As the AGM is being held through video conference, the facility for appointment of proxies by the members was not applicable, and hence the proxy register is not available for inspection. All the shareholders who have joined this meeting are by default being placed by the host on mute mode in order to avoid disturbance which may arise from the background noise and for conducting this meeting smoothly and seamlessly. Some of the shareholders have registered themselves as speaker shareholder for this AGM. Accordingly, opportunity will be given to those shareholders to ask questions or express their views. The moderator will facilitate this session once Chairman opens the question and answer session. The shareholders who have registered themselves as the speaker shareholder will be announced one by one. Before speaking, shareholders are requested to click the webcam button on their camera. I would request the shareholders to first introduce themselves and then proceed with their questions or views. The shareholders are requested to finish speaking within 3 minutes' time. Now I request Mrs. Birla, Chairman of the company, to kindly chair the meeting and commence the proceedings of this meeting.
Shareholders, I welcome you all to the 31st Annual General Meeting of Birlasoft Limited. Before we start the proceedings of the AGM, let me introduce my colleagues on the board. C.K. Birla, Non-Executive Director, is present with me in New Delhi, along with Dharminder Kapoor, CEO and MD. I'll request other board members who have joined the AGM through video conferencing from their respective locations to introduce themselves. Mr. Ashok Kumar Bharat, Independent Director.
Good evening. I'm Ashok Bharat, Independent Director of Birlasoft Limited, joining the 31st Annual General Meeting from Kolkata. Thank you.
Mr. Anant Talaulikar, Independent Director.
Good evening. I am Anant Talaulikar, Independent Director and Chairman of the Nomination and Remuneration Committee of the company. I'm joining the 31st Annual General Meeting of Birlasoft Limited from Mumbai. Thank you.
Mrs. Alka Barucha, Independent Director.
Good evening. I'm Alka Barucha, Independent Director and Chairperson of the Stakeholder Relationship Committee. I'm joining the 31st Annual General Meeting of Birlasoft Limited from my office in Mumbai.
Ms. Nandita Gurjar, Independent Director.
From Bangalore.
Yeah, we couldn't hear. Sorry, Nandita. Can I ask you to repeat?
Good evening. I'm Nandita Gurjar, Independent Director of the company. I'm joining the 31st Annual General Meeting of Birlasoft Limited from Bangalore.
I wish to inform you that all the directors of the company are attending this AGM. We have Mr. Chandrasekhar Tyagarajan, CFO, who is also present here with us. I also acknowledge the attendance of Mr. Swapnil Dakshandas, Partner BSR & Co. LLP, the statutory auditors of the company, Ms. Sneha Kulkarni, representative of Dr. K.R. Chandratre, Practicing Company Secretary, our Secretarial Auditor, Mr. Jayant B. Bhave, Practicing Company Secretary, as a scrutinizer for this meeting from their respective locations. I thank all the shareholders, colleagues on the board, and the management team for joining this meeting through video conference. Participation of members through video conferencing is being reckoned for the purpose of this quorum, as per the circulars issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and Section 103 of the Companies Act 2013. As a requisite quorum is present, I call the meeting to order. The company has made all feasible efforts to enable shareholders to participate in the AGM through video conferencing facility and in providing electronic voting facility during the AGM. I now request the company secretary to brief the shareholders regarding the e-voting process.
Thank you, Chairman. In compliance with the provisions of the Companies Act 2013 and SEBI listing regulations, the company has provided to all the members who are holding shares as on the cutoff date of 27 July 2022, either in physical form or in dematerialized form, the facility to exercise their right to vote on all the resolutions set out in the notice of the 31st Annual General Meeting. The remote e-voting platform was provided by National Securities Depository Limited, and remote e-voting facility was available to the members from Friday 29 July 2022 9 a.m. to Tuesday 2nd August 2022 5 p.m. Electronic voting facility at the AGM is made available to enable shareholders who have not cast their votes through remote e-voting. The e-voting window has been activated during the AGM proceedings. The shareholders attending the meeting who have not cast their vote by remote e-voting are requested to cast their vote by going to the e-voting page in the previous menu, click on Active Voting Cycle, and clicking on EVEN 120382. Shareholders may please note that there will be no voting by show of hands. I now request Chairman to continue with the proceedings of the AGM.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to you at the 31st Annual General Meeting of Birlasoft. Please accept my sincere thanks on behalf of the Board of Directors. The annual report of your company for the year-end date 31st March 22 has already been circulated and is with you. And with your permission, I take it as read. Your company registered a growth of nearly 16% to go past annual revenues of $500 million for the first time, with an increase in profits of nearly 45% in the year under review. This impressive performance is a reflection of your company's ability to pivot quickly and to respond to the emerging opportunities in an increasingly interconnected world. As COVID impacted corporates and society learned to carry on their activities through accelerated adoption of technology and digital solutions, we have become more connected than ever before, despite higher barriers in the way of physical contact. The relentless evolution, more like a revolution, in technology is helping reshape virtually every process, and its quick adoption is being enabled by easy-to-use and accessible-from-anywhere solutions. Digital and cloud have clearly emerged as key enablers. We at Birlasoft have been ahead of the curve in sensing the opportunities that this creates for our business. With the timely strengthening of required capabilities to service the new needs, we've been helping many of our clients in their accelerated digital transformation, and thus creating competitive advantage for them. Against our overall revenue growth of about 16%, our digital and cloud revenue grew at nearly twice that rate during the year. Today, we can proudly call ourselves an enterprise digital company which helps clients achieve digital value by modernizing their enterprise solutions, applications, and infrastructure. With sharply focused and agile responses to grow our business, our ability to ensure robust margins is improving as our customers see the enhanced value in our support. Recognizing the need for higher value creation, even while chasing growth, we continue to focus on larger deals and growth in margins. This effort is being supported by strengthening capabilities for prioritized micro-verticals to deliver differentiated offerings. Overall, the endeavor is to create quick and sustainable value for our clients and for all our stakeholders. Being acutely aware that our people and our talent pool are our most critical strengths, we've been investing a huge effort in upgrading our talent practices and emerge as the employer of choice. It is a matter of great pride that in a fresh survey, your company's 12,000 plus professionals have once again reaffirmed their faith by helping Birlasoft win the certification as being a great place to work. To build on this competitive edge, we continue to remain focused on nurturing leadership and sharpening behavioral and change management capabilities, besides honing the skill sets needed to service the emerging needs of our clients. We take immense pride in our group's legacy and will continue to do our bit to serve people and the communities that we operate in. Our CSR philosophy is guided by our vision of create, collaborate, and change. Our project Shodhan, which focuses on the reduction of crop residue burning, has won a special jury award at the India CSR Summit. The program curtailed 65 KT of CO2 and 34 tons of black carbon emissions, while continuing to save water, as well as contributing to increase in the yield for the farmers of the states of Punjab and Haryana. Our other CSR programs continue to focus on women empowerment and education for the marginalized, aimed at making a humble difference to the society we are all part of. Mitigating climate change impact and transitioning to sustainable development have emerged as a major concern across the globe. Being a responsible corporate, Birlasoft is fully conscious of the role it needs to play to help improve the environment we live in. Birlasoft's state-of-the-art campus at Pune is an insignia of its commitment to energy efficiency and sustainable development. A couple of examples of our efforts include adopting various new age practices to reduce energy consumption and to recycle water. We are committed to broadening our progressive ESG framework and policies. The continued push for technology adoption and upgradation is inescapable, and that augurs well for your company's business prospects. However, there is a need to remain mindful of the challenges as well. Even as the impact of the pandemic has softened, the economies and businesses worldwide have been struggling to cope with the dislocations in the supply chains caused by the geopolitical tensions. The resultant inflation is causing anxieties, leading to central banks tightening the monetary policies. Many economists have talked about the prospect of a recession, which could lead to corporates delaying their investments. Even on the supply side, technology companies in particular have encountered difficulties in finding the required talent and skill sets in time, leading to pressures on talent costs. Even in this challenging environment, I remain confident about your company's abilities to meet the challenges, remain competitive, and continue to grow profitably, as at Birlasoft, we have a progressive and a resilient organization built on a culture of trust, performance orientation, and accountability. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I would like to thank all our shareholders, partners, and associates. I'm also thankful to my colleagues on the board, as well as to the entire global workforce of Birlasoft, with whose help we continue to build and grow the company every day. My best wishes to each of you and your families for good health, peace, and happiness. Thank you. May I now request Minder Kapoor to address the members.
Thank you, Mr. Birla. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me take next 5 minutes to walk you through the business highlights and the financial highlights and the key priorities that we have for the upcoming year. If you look at our financial year, we had put a very strong strategy in place where we said that we will continue to focus on the micro verticalization, the cross-selling for our growth, the improvement in the annuity revenue, and also the new offerings in the digital space so that we can become a truly enterprise digital company. And the result is in front of you, where we have shown the business and technology transformation revenue grew by 26.1%, and similarly the cloud-based services grew by 29.8%. Our enterprise solutions, while it grew by 2.5% for the whole year, the second half grew with the high single-digit growth. But at the same time, the most important thing was that our client cross-selling strategy worked very well, because we went through the COVID period where net new revenue was hard to come by. Our cross-selling strategy worked very well to give us the growth that we saw in the financial year. If you look at carefully, the biggest uptick for us was to look at the new wins that we had. The total cost of the total TCV wins of $696 million, which are significantly higher than the previous year. But the good part is that new business came at 64% of $696 million, which is at $444 million, and the renewal of about $252 million. And of course, the manpower strength grew by 1,153 professionals. If you look at the financial highlights, our revenue stood at $555.2 million. The EBITDA also, we delivered as per our promise more than 15%, which was at 15.5%, and profit after tax at 11.2%. I'll take to the trends in the next slide, but let me just go through the numbers that are there on the financial highlights. Headcounts at 12,200. The net cash and cash equivalent were at $161.6 million, which is about 1,225 crore rupees. ROE stood at 19.2% against 15.6% in the previous year, and the net worth at $340 million. The dividend, which is a proposed dividend, is at 4.5 rupees per share, and the buyback is at rupees 500 per share. So these are the financial highlights. But if you look at our trends for the last 3 years, we are showing continuous improvement year on year and quarter on quarter. If we look at the revenue from the operations, it grew by 15.8% from the previous year, and the EBITDA grew by again 21% from the previous year. The PAT grew 44.5%, which was a significant jump from where we were in the year before. And of course, it is not only about those numbers, but also really looking at, are we really nurturing our relationship with our key clients? So if you look at the number of clients in the 10 million plus category, it continued improving in the last 3 years, and it was improved by 4 in the last 1 year. The DSO had been improving again year on year, where we were at 72 in 2020. Today we are at 58, which is one of the best in class when it comes to the industry. And of course, the EPS per share is also today stands at 16.6. Looking at the key revenue metrics, if you look at the revenue by geo, America remains our biggest geography, and it improved further. But our going forward focus would be that how do we continue to grow our Europe and APAC as well. But America definitely we have seen a good momentum during COVID and after COVID also. The revenue by the industry vertical, if you look at, we have significant presence in the manufacturing space, where our 45% of revenue comes from manufacturing. So we are quite well known in the industry for our strength in the manufacturing. And also, if you look at life sciences and BFSI also had shown the growth, the energy and utility being the fourth vertical for us. The service offering, if you look at our significant growth that we have seen actually in the business and technology transformation, which has a significant piece of digital in it. Of course, the digital is there in the cloud and enterprise solution as well, which is today about 55 to 60% of our revenue. So we have seen significant uptick on the digital revenue, and which is where the whole industry is growing, and that means that our service offerings are well focused on the growing area. At the same time, if you look at on the client concentration, our top 20 customers today are delivering us 61.3% of our revenue. That means we continue to keep major focus on our top clients and we continue to grow them. And that makes us very, very confident that we'll continue to grow in the future as well. Some rewards which we have published at different times, and you are very well aware of that. But let me move next to our priority areas, and I will just quickly touch upon for a couple of seconds on that our focus will absolutely remain that while there is a lot of discussion on the recession and other things that is happening, but we continue to focus on the cloud services, digital services, and despite the challenges that sometimes we see, we are very confident that we will continue to deliver the result that is expected by our shareholders from us. So thank you very much, and back to you, Sneha.
To me.
To Mrs. Birla. Sorry.
Thank you, DK. Notice of the 31st Annual General Meeting, along with the annual report for the financial year 2021-22, were sent to the shareholders electronically, and with your kind permission, I shall take them as read. There are no qualifications, observations, or adverse remarks in the statutory auditor's report on the financials of the company for the financial year 2021-22, and the secretarial auditor's report neither. Therefore, with your kind permission, I take the statutory auditor's report and the secretarial auditor's report as read. I now take up the business as mentioned in the notice of the 31st Annual General Meeting. Ordinary Resolution Number 1. Adoption of the audited standalone financial statements for the year ended March 31st, 2022, and the reports of the Board of Directors and Auditors thereon. Ordinary Resolution Number 2. Adoption of the audited consolidated financial statements for the year ended March 31st, 2022, and the report of the auditors thereon. Ordinary Resolution Number 3. Confirmation of interim dividend of 1.5 rupees per equity share of 2 rupees each, and to consider declaration of final dividend of rupees 3 per equity share of face value 2 rupees each for the financial year ended March 31st, 2022. Ordinary Resolution Number 4. Reappointment of Dharminder Kapoor as a director who retires by rotation and being eligible offers himself for reappointment. Ordinary Resolution number 5. Reappointment of Dharminder Kapoor as Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of the company for a further period of 3 years with effect from June 1st, 2022. Special Resolution number 3. Increase in the managerial remuneration limit payable to Dharminder Kapoor as CEO and Managing Director in excess of 5% of the net profits of the company, and therefore to increase the overall maximum managerial remuneration limit from 11% to 18% of the net profits of the company in any financial year or years during his tenure as CEO and Managing Director. Special Resolution number 7. Approval for Birlasoft Share Incentive Plan 2022 for the employees of the company. Special Resolution number 3. Extension of Birlasoft Share Incentive Plan 2022 to the employees of the company's subsidiary companies. The details of the resolutions, along with the explanatory statement, are provided in the notice circulated to the shareholders. Shareholders who have not yet voted may cast their vote. The e-voting will remain open up to 15 minutes from the end of this meeting. Now I open the floor for the questions and answer session, and to avoid repetition, the questions will be addressed at the end. I request the moderator to unmute the registered speaker shareholders one by one. So let me start with the questions. The first question.
So we don't have Mr. Marathe supposed to be the first speaker. So we're taking the speaker number 2, Mr. Naveen Bothra. So Mr. Bothra, please, continue with the question. Your lines have been unmuted. Thanks.
Yes. I am Naveen Bothra. Pleasure attending the 31st AGM of Birlasoft from Delhi. A very warm greetings to respected Chairperson Madam Amita Birla ji, our Group Chairman C.K. Birla sir, our MD and CEO C.K. sir, and other esteemed board members and key management person team of Birlasoft. First of all, I would like to congratulate the Birlasoft team led by our dynamic MD and CEO D.K. sir for the improved performance and achieving highest ever revenues and profits even considering the pandemic and geopolitical challenges headwinds. Also congratulate Team Birlasoft for the various awards and accolades won during the year, as well as getting the Great Place to Work certification also. I would like to have Chairperson Madam's broader views on the following points, as in the con calls and investor presentation we get all the operational details and all these things. So I would like to have Chairperson Madam's broader views on the following points. Even in the annual report and as well as in the DKS's presentations, we are talking about achieving $1 billion revenue by 2025. So what will be our strategy going ahead to achieve $1 billion? Because organically, if we grow, it will require high double digit growth in revenues. So how we are planning to achieve this by organically, as well as our capital allocation policy for inorganic acquisitions for FY22-23 also. Because in this year we are investing around 500 crore rupees in the buyback, as also we are giving good dividends also. So what will be our strategy for providing the funds for inorganic acquisitions to achieve our aspirational $1 million revenue? Second one is regarding our revenue concentration, geographical expansion. 82% of our revenues are coming from USA, and we are seeing talks of recession there in the US for the last 2 quarters. So what are the steps we are taking for our geographical expansion to Europe and APAC? Kindly share your views there. And finally, the third person regarding EVA, economic value added during the financial year 2021-22, if you can share, it will be quite useful for us. I have already voted in favor of all the resolutions, and especially I would like to strongly support the resolutions for reappointment of our MD and CEO, DK sir, and wish him all the very best. I also propose a vote of thanks to the board and wish the Birlasoft team for continuing the robust performance in the year and times ahead. Seeing the theme of our annual report this year is new possibilities and perspectives. So we wish all the things new possibilities and perspectives lead us to higher goals and achievements. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The next question is from Speaker Mr. Vasudev Ramasamy.
Good afternoon, Madam Birlaji. CK Birla sir, good afternoon. Mr. DK, good afternoon. How are you all? So, I am Ramaswamy attending the AGM virtually from Delhi. Congratulations to the team on the good performance and also on the awards. I would like to have your views on one or two couple of points which I will be mentioning. See, we are now 12,000 plus strong workforce. What are the steps we are taking to attract new talent as well as retain the existing talent? Because IT industry is known for its high attrition rate, and presently what is the attrition rate in our company? And another point which I was just looking at, the company is giving some information on the capital of the company over and above the financial capital. I am seeing, we are reading various annual reports which take into account, all the 6 capitals of the company, thereby giving broader views of all the, benefits of the other capitals. Madam Chairperson and Group Chairman, sir, I would like to bring one small point for your kind attention. I am a very, very small shareholder in all the listed Birla company or group companies, where I get dividend within 2 to 4 days of the completion of the AGM. Whereas in the case of our Birlasoft, it takes at least 2 weeks to receive the dividend. Kindly look into this. All the best to the team. Thanks for the opportunity.
We take a little bit more time for dividend.
Okay.
The number of days that we take for giving the dividend.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any more questions? Sneha?
Yes, the next question is from Mr. Bharat Raj.
Very good afternoon, Madam Chairman, Mrs. Birla, the Group Chairman, Sika Birla, Mr. Birla, and MD and CEO, Mr. Dharmendra, and Secretary Department, Ms. Neha and Ms. Vikas, and entire Board of Directors. First of all, I'm happy to see you all safe, healthy, and fine, sir. I'm Bharat Raj calling from Hyderabad. Sika Birlaji, how are you, sir? We met in our HL AGM also. I'm very proud to associate with our Birla Group, sir. First of all, Madam Chairman, I'm very proud of the leadership. My company is growing very fast, Madam. Expanding all over the world, and revenue increase, revenues also increased, and the profit has also increased. And the most revenue is coming from US and Europe. And we have 12,000 employees. My question is that in these 12,000 employees, how many female employees are there, madam? What is the percentage? Hello? Madam, I'm audible, madam? Hello?
Yes. Yes.
What is the female percentage, madam? And congratulate Mr. Dharmendra and Madam Chairman for receiving CMI level 5 and best great work. I'm very proud, madam, because under leadership, this is not end. In future, you receive the Peacock Award also. There are very more awards are waiting for you, madam, under your leadership. Madam, I thank for the wonderful dividend, madam, 4.5. Madam, thanks for your buyback. And any future plans for the bonus issue, madam? Any liberal bonus from your side, madam? Because we expect a bonus from the management. So any liberal bonus, 2:1 or 1:1 bonus? And Madam Chairman, what is your future plan for the $1 billion, Madam? Now we are 4,000 crores and another 4,000 crores waiting for in our basket, Madam. Can we expect it within 5 years? Mr. Dharmendra, there is a lot of responsibility under leaders. Can we expect next 5 years we will become a $1 billion company? What is your roadmap for the $1 billion company? And I congratulate and I recommend our board for giving 5% commission, but I'll recommend to the chairman not 5%, madam, recommend him 10% because under leadership he is making the revenue more and profit giving. So I recommend to give commission 10%, not 5%. Once again, Ms. Neha ji, thanks for your wonderful video conference. She is a wonderful madam, wonderful lady, always accessible. And your assistant, Mr. Vikas, also is always accessible 24/7. Entire secretary department, thank you for arranging a wonderful VC. Once again, chairman, group chairman, Sir Birlaji, and Madam Chairman, thank you. All the best for coming years. God bless you. You are always with the service. I support all the resolutions. Calling from Hyderabad.
Vikas, is there any next question?
Yes, there are a couple of more. Mr. Ashish Bansal, please go ahead. Your line has been unmuted.
Then any relative relation?
No.
Relative relation.
Hello?
Mr. Ashish Bansal, please go ahead with your question.
Respected Chairman and Board of Directors, first I thank for giving us dividend. Just I want to know if there is any relative of the Amit Leela Pilla with Mangalam Pilla. There is lot of meeting is going up. Please keep it so I can go to next HM. Lupin HM is going on. So I have to quit this. Please keep the reply. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Vikas, please ask for the next question.
Please go ahead with your question, Mr. Prabhu Chau. This is the final participant. Mr. Praful Chavda, your line has been unmuted. Please go ahead.
Chairperson, Madam, Group Chairman Birlaji और बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स, बहुत अच्छा लगता है चेयरमैन सर, चेयरपर्सन मैडम, कि हमारे बिरला जी की कंपनी में चेयरपर्सन भी मैडम है और कंपनी सेक्रेटरी भी मैडम है। तो बिरला जी को मैं बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ कि आपने ग्रुप के चेयरमैन होते हुए भी मैडम को अपॉइंटमेंट किया रखे सो है। तो इसके गाइडलाइंस में, इसके लीडरशिप में कंपनी बहुत आगे बढ़ रही है और अभी कंपनी ने एक बड़ा बाईबैक भी किया और अच्छा डिविडेंड दिया। बाईबैक करने के बाद मेरे ख्याल से कंपनी 5 इयर्स तक तो बोनस नहीं देती है। तो बाईबैक इसलिए करते हैं कि इक्विटी कम करने के लिए, तो बोनस का सवाल नहीं रहता है। इसके बाद में एक देखा कि सर आपका हर एक काम अच्छा हो रहा है और बिरला जी की कोई भी कंपनी में अकाउंट्स के बारे में बात करना या अकाउंट्स में मिस्टेक दिखाना असंभव है। मैं दो बात कहना चाहता हूँ। फर्स्ट बात तो अभी 15 अगस्त को कहते हैं कि पूरी इंडिया में तिरंगा घर घर पे फहराना चाहिए और फहराने के लिए सब लोग प्रतिबद्ध है। तो आप भी आपकी कंपनी में सबको बोलिए, सबको सर्कुलेशन दीजिए कि हर एक घर में, एम्प्लॉयज के घर में फ्लैग अपने भारत का राष्ट्र ध्वज फहराइए और इसके लिए कंपनी की तरफ से ध्वज डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कीजिए और कंपनी के हर एक एम्प्लॉयज को आप ही प्रोवाइड कीजिए कि यहाँ से फ्लैग ले जाइए, आपके फ्रेंड सर्कल को भी देना तो भी ले जाइए और हर एक घर में लगाइए। और दूसरी बात है, अपना जो कंपनी है इसमें बहुत से एम्प्लॉयज है और वो एम्प्लॉयज 2 व्हीलर चलाते हैं, 4 व्हीलर चलाते हैं। जैसे आपके पुणे जैसे सिटी में तो बहुत पोल्यूशन है, तो पोल्यूशन कम करने के लिए अभी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक गाड़ी आ गई है, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक 2 व्हीलर 4 व्हीलर आ गया है, और हर एक स्टेट इसमें सब्सिडी भी दे रही है। तो क्यों ना आपका एम्प्लॉयज भी जो कुछ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक गाड़ी खरीदे, 2 व्हीलर खरीदे या 4 व्हीलर, तो कंपनी की तरफ से भी थोड़ा सब्सिडी मिल जाएगा, तो एम्प्लॉयज को और देश को दोनों को बेनिफिट होगा। और इंडिया जो अभी पेट्रोल मंगाती है, इसमें थोड़ा भी बहुत पेट्रोल कम मंगाना पड़ेगा, तो भी देश को बहुत बहुत फायदा होगा। इसके अलावा मैं पूरा सपोर्ट करता हूँ, बिरला जी की हर एक कंपनी में शेल्डर हूँ और पूरा सपोर्ट करता हूँ। धन्यवाद।
That was the last.
Thank you. So I'll take up the questions. There are several questions that have been asked again, so I will take up the first question. A couple of people asked was becoming a $1 billion revenue company. Birlasoft set an ambitious target of becoming a $1 billion company by FY25. IT demand outlook over the next 3 years looks healthy, and despite some of the recession challenges. And in FY22, we've grown by 16%, and we expect about a 15% CAGR revenue growth rate over a period of the next 3 years. We will also review inorganic growth to help us achieve this ambition. With regard to geographical expansion, we're working on expanding in different geographies, and as DK mentioned in his presentation, this also includes the European Union. As far as talent induction and retention are concerned, we're investing a huge effort in upgrading and upskilling to emerge as the employer of choice. Some of these are at a tactical level, and some of these have been with regard to compensation, restructuring, and from a long-term perspective, we've got a huge fillip in our culture building activities, and we're investing a lot in skilling and development. Thank you for the suggestion on integrated annual reports, and we will work on it. With regard to electric vehicles, we as a company are very strong in encouraging sustainability. And Mr. Chawla, all cabs in our cities that we operate in are all electric vehicles. And I'm sorry, I was unable to hear, I think it was Mr. Ashish Bansal, and we will respond to you over email. Thank you very much for your questions. And I will now, I hope all the queries of the shareholders have been answered. And for those, as I said, unanswered, we will provide answers over email. I would again request the shareholders who have not cast their votes yet to do so. The company has appointed Mr. Jayavant Bhave of JB Bhave and Company Secretaries to act as the scrutinizer for scrutinizing the remote e-voting and the e-voting process at the AGM in a fair and transparent manner. The results will be declared based on consolidated scrutinizer's report received by the company, considering the votes cast by the shareholders participating in this AGM, together with the e-voting already done by shareholders during the remote e-voting period. I authorize Dharminder Kapoor, CEO and Managing Director, Chandrasekhar Tyagarajan, Chief Financial Officer, and Sneha Padve, Company Secretary of the company, severally, to receive the scrutinizer's report on e-voting and declare the result of the voting to the stock exchanges within 2 working days from the end of this meeting. The results will be published on the company's website and also uploaded on the websites of the stock exchange, the NSE and the BSE. The resolutions as set forth in the notice shall be deemed to be passed today, that is August the 3rd, 2022, subject to the receipt of requisite number of votes. I thank all the shareholders for participation in this AGM. I also thank all the board members and auditors for their participation. I declare that this meeting shall stand closed after being open for 15 minutes from here for e-voting to be completed. Thank you.
I hereby declare the proceedings as closed. Thank you.